Well, Warner Brothers is at it again yesterday, manually claiming my Mortal Kombat 11 video, thus not only blocking it in all countries, but rendering it nearly impossible to fight because if I am to dispute this claim, because they were so nefarious about the manual detection, it's unlikely I'll win and my channel will receive a copyright strike. Now, why can't I absorb a copyright strike? Because I live stream on this channel once or twice a week, and that ability, that income is important. They know this, which is why they abuse the system. Yesterday, I uploaded a video talking about one of the endings in the new Mortal Kombat 11, where Jax accomplishes his goal and then uses the power to change time to go back and unironically in the video clip actually say, I can't wait for people to get woke. I'm speeding up time. And then he goes back to history and ends slavery, apparently. Just the ending that you'd love to see in your video games. Nothing like getting that Black Lives Matter wet dream built in to the end. Now, I said in the video, obviously this is a reasonable temptation, but it's a curious choice for a video game. Willing to completely hose everybody, especially this character who's been loyal to his compatriots through all the competitions, willing to just throw that away to change history for his own desires. Now, I'm not going to go into the science and the physics behind time travel and how going back will make it all change for him and could make his very existence not happen. I guess that's not what they want to explore. They just want to say, hey, black dude ends slavery. So good. Please write positive articles about our video game, Kotaku and Polygon. We are getting woke. Now when I published this video, I used about 10 seconds of the clip in a 13-minute video or 11-minute video. The arguments I've seen for Warner Brothers having the right to claim this are that, one, it's a cutscene. Okay, maybe. But I guarantee you yesterday, when you were searching Mortal Kombat 11, my video at the time, I think I put it out at 1 o'clock, and there was about 150,000 views already by 5 o'clock. So it was picking up steam. And then manually at 10 o'clock at night on Easter Sunday, somebody goes through and manually claims the video. And not just a manual claim, but the entire video. And let me tell you why this is particularly nefarious. If they were to point to a small section of the video that was a content ID match or something like that, I would have had the option to simply delete that section and the video would be automatically reinstated. As it stands now, since 9:30 last night, where I tried at 9:30 when I got the copyright claim, I went in, I deleted it. It's now been 12 hours and YouTube is still processing the video. I could have re-uploaded, I suppose, with that, but I was under the impression that chopping 10 seconds out of a video on YouTube would have only taken maybe an hour or two. We're now 12 hours in. The video's lost all momentum. There's really no point at all in reinstating it, because if they had pointed to a particular time frame, then once I delete it, YouTube would reinstate the video. However, since they claimed the entire video, no matter what, when I delete it, I still have to now go beg for them to reinstate my video that they shouldn't have freaking claimed in the first place, because the clip that I used was 100% fair use. Now, you could make the argument that, well, the game's not out yet, so they were claiming these videos. That doesn't matter. I was using that clip in 100% fair use capacity, in like literal, not just a tiny way. I used a tiny clip and spent 11 minutes expounding on the narrative that they were pushing. And you might argue, well, geez, you know, people are saying, well, they must have purged everything. Wrong. If you go to YouTube, they have all the same endings everywhere. You have all the Mortal Kombat story walkthrough, final boss and ending, all cutscenes, all endings, all secret endings, final boss, all endings, all character endings. I mean, there are pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of the Mortal Kombat 11 endings. Why did they choose to flag mine? We know. One, it was probably one of the more popular videos at the time. Two, it was heavily critical of NetherRealms, Mortal Kombat, and Warner Brothers for going out of their way to push politics into the video games. I mean, when you're talking about a video game, unironically talking about people getting woke and then going back and stopping slavery, I'm going to comment on that. Yes, okay, fine. A lot of people originally gave me feedback, well, this is not a really big deal, blah, blah, blah. It isn't that big of a deal. It's a video game, but this is what I do. I'm a commentator. I comment on, oftentimes, specifically, the point where politics and video games intersect, that point at which I would like to push off the map. But we are now just going directly to, oh, well, we're just going to push weirdo direct politics. We're going to talk about people getting woke. We're going to go back and change history to make things right. And we're not going to have any negative effects of that, of course. We're going to just have Jax go back and now we was Kangs for everybody. Bullshit. Warner Brothers knows that I'm not in any real position to fight this because all they have to do is decline my counterclaim and my channel will receive a strike. I will be unable to live stream. I will be unable to earn money. And Warner Brothers, which is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, doesn't have to give two shits. They'll say, yeah, all right, Beardo in the Midwest, get a lawyer and sue us. Great, great. So then I have to pay, what, 100 grand, 200 grand in legal fees to go up against Warner Brothers, who won't even care, to reinstate a video that would have made me $100 in the first place. The smart money is simply on deleting the video and then moving on with my life. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this video out and I'm going to remind everybody about the Streisand effect. If you saw yesterday's video, it's going to be at the end of this video. I'm going to tack it on at the end. If you missed it, please watch it. If you saw it, please consider sharing it because I believe, it is my opinion, that they particularly picked my video because it was highly critical of what they did with Jax's ending and how they shoved politics into it. I've shown you that there are countless cutscenes and countless endings from Mortal Kombat 11 live on YouTube right now. Yet at nearly 10 o'clock on Easter Sunday, these dickwads manually claimed my entire video. Why do you, I wonder why that would be. I wonder if my video was talking about how awesome it was and how I wanted to get woke too, and this ending really changed things for me. I wonder if they would have manually claimed my video then. This is absolute abuse of the YouTube copyright system, and of course, since it's broken, all I can do is rant about it, and I'm thankful to have you, and I'm hopeful that all of you will share this video and it'll pick up some traction, and hopefully it'll blow up in their stupid faces.
That's King George of England. A light-skinned black man.
You clearly see the Vikings as black men.
We was Kangs, or Wakanda Forever, would probably best classify the absolute 110% level of wokeness in the new Mortal Kombat 11 ending for Jax. Now, as things stand alone, they oftentimes can't paint the entire picture. But when we look at the history of what has happened inside of NetherRealm Studios over the past 6 months, I think it's safe to say that they have gone completely, ironically, woke and full on SJW. Now, apparently SJWs are fine with violence, but not with good-looking women, as we saw from the original quote by Brendan George talking about their character lead. And some of you have heard this before, but I want to just help paint the picture. This is in reference to the women being fully covered up and completely ignoring that the men were not. Our character lead, Brendan George, has been the breath of fresh air, just introducing new ideas. I wonder what those new ideas would be. Our designs Our design is just getting more mature and respectful. You're not going to wear a bikini to a fight. You're not going to be showing so much skin. Well, it's interesting that you have all the male characters showing all the skin available for the most part. So we know that this person is completely full of it, obviously. I think it's just what the game is about. You're not going to be wearing such scantily clad items, which, of course, we've proven that this character designer is full of absolute BS, or at least this person giving the quote is lying completely. The quote continues, "I'm sure that will disappoint some fans. We don't have bathing suit fighters, and I think that's fine. If people are disappointed, I don't regret making that change by any means." And that last paragraph is exactly what a puritanical, far left, like SJW type person would say. A loose translation would be something like, "Oh, you don't get your big waifu titties? Cry me a river, incel." That's, maybe what this person would have said behind closed doors. Now, at the peak, before Mortal Kombat 11 comes out, some of the endings are leaking, and you have Jax. I saw this, Jax Briggs Mortal Kombat ending. It was leaked by Lost Ambush, and I noticed, why are there so many downvotes? That's interesting. I do a quick Google search, and there's already an article up on One Angry Gamer talking about it, and I'm going to talk about it as well. Billy goes on to say, "NetherRealm Studios has really fallen off the bandwagon of political incorrectness. Everything about MK11 seems to be preachy, liberal-infused, left-leaning, regressive piece of propaganda." That I can't, I don't know that for a fact. What I've seen is not great. From the women being dressed like their caliphate complement, to the men being dressed like they're ready to audition for the disabled mutant version of Magic Mike, Mortal Kombat 11 is a complete and utter disgrace as far as edgy counterculture content is concerned. Now, maybe that's true, but I don't think that this video game was ever like about being counterculture. It was just, it kind of went all the way at a time when other games weren't. But it's hard to say that they're making a statement. And at the time when Mortal Kombat made that statement, we didn't have a lot of this PC stuff going on. It wasn't as prevalent in the video game industry. Heck, in an alternate reality, it would probably be mocked endlessly from the top to bottom, a parody of offensive jokes and grotesque satire. But here in the clown world, NetherRealm decided to lay all their SJW-infused cards on the table, putting politics before in a number of ways, which includes Jax Briggs' tower ending from Mortal Kombat 11. The reason I say Lost Ambush was ashamed of ending it, well, because of all the reaction. Now, ultimately, this YouTuber disabled the comments because it was getting out of control for them, which I understand. Maybe they should have provided some commentary to say, hey, this isn't my opinion. This is just the episode or whatever. So they responded by completely disabling the comment section of the video in hopes to keep people from discussing and railing on NetherRealm for getting woke and kowtowing their creative content to catastrophic coterie of the intersectional Inquisition. Jeez, I probably should have had some coffee this morning. In a separate video, Lost Ambush explains why he decided to disable the comments in the comment section, saying it was about to go all full meltdown against each other, so I decided it would be better to disable the comment section. We're going to take a look at it. There's a simple solution to preventing people from trolling the content. Don't get woke. So in a general gist of the ending is Jack's tower ending, he defeats Chronica and uses the power of time manipulation to force black people out of slavery and make them rulers of the world because, according to Jax, he's done waiting for people to get woke. That's correct. They unironically used that term. He doesn't care about little things like the Armenian genocide and other things. As some people pointed out, it's basically a recreation of Wakanda from Black Panther. it's almost as ignorant and regressive. It's almost as if an ignorant, regressive liberal wrote the ending, but that's to be expected. It's definitely seems Billy always goes a little hard, but he does cover a lot of the same stuff, and I do recommend like reading the full article. But it definitely seems like NetherRealm took a very pro-military, pro-family, pro-ethics soldier like Jax, who was a by-the-books commander, and turned him into a bleeding heart symbol of regressive liberalism. It doesn't seem to fit with the continuity or consistency for the way that the character had been portrayed in previous incarnations of Mortal Kombat. NetherRealm decided to throw away his past characterization in order to preach wokeness, further diminishing the integrity of the MK brand in forever. Now, it is interesting if you look at some of the I saw this by Oliver Campbell, just some open discussion, and he is an author as well, talking about this is that ending from Mortal Kombat 11. This is what they made Jax into, a series that has built its entire legacy on provocative content reduced to this blubbering mess of intersectional wokeness. Holy Christ on a cracker. And you can read some of the comments from people who are more in tune with Jax lore. Jax, in previous games, a loyal friend, an honorable officer, possessed of a steely determination, a man who ultimately fought for the sake of all Earth realms. MK11 Jax, time to screw over the people who have fought and bled alongside me. Jax, I used to think the content of my character is what mattered, but now I know it's the color of my skin. Now, it's not improbable or implausible that given, and we're going to go a little bit down the rabbit hole here, but given the power to change time, that somebody might want to go back and change a few things, right a few wrongs, maybe take care of a certain mustachioed baby in Germany at a certain time, or maybe try to change the path for black folks. I get that that's a reasonable, plausible temptation, I think, if you have that power. You know, maybe some people would want to go back and bet on the Super Bowl or invest in Google on day one, set up their family for life, some more selfish desires. So I think that, to be honest with you, outside of video games, I think it's a very plausible outcome for Jax, but inside of the video game world, inside of this realm, it absolutely comes off as crowbarred in. I mean, the game isn't about that. The game isn't about righting wrongs necessarily. Well, it can be at times, I suppose. But it's not a history lesson. And it's interesting that, you know, how come they didn't have the white character go back and do something similar, let's say, in Germany. This was absolutely about getting woke. Really not the right place for it in this game, and really in video games in general, I think. And I gotta be honest, like, it's kind of a sad day to see Mortal Kombat. I knew we were in trouble. I knew the series was in trouble when they started getting the burqa babes going and then lying to our faces as customers. Now, will Mortal Kombat still sell well? Yeah, because at the end of the day, if it's a good experience, if the game is good, these little story mentions only matter to a small number of people. Now, for me, I have not a lot of interest in fighting games in general, but if I did, or if I was on the fence and I saw that they chose to go We Was Kangs with Jax's ending, basically reducing him to what an SJW thinks black people think about all day, you know, of course he would go back and fix slavery and make black people kings, because that's what all black people think about. They don't have normal human desires, maybe to provide some some selfish needs. No. They need to push that message. So as more of these endings leak out, it's going to be, or as we view more of these endings, now that they're all out there, I'm wondering how many other situations will go full Wakanda. But I got to say, Mortal Kombat, not the place. Just find some place else to push your politics, please. Is that too much to ask? I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, Easter, Monday, whenever you happen to be watching this, and we'll talk to you again real soon.